Ebusuafo ni etiefo ni die kwan so mepa acho mema obi bia akwa ababa channel so ahanom daily update TV bo kwan so sene no first time ababa channel so mesro say with the greatest respect onya videos ni bi hwe na so ni dwuma please subscribe for more updates, like and share videos more love is so nya bi enhwe yakopon hira na onya okese busua mepa acho a security expert I friend Adam Bona wapia ba bonti den so bia potudwa according to ono woma conduct survey na ebusuan nim say abana yekot abana that your friends the special voting the special voting onim so all the security soldiers for ni na any police for num so mu nyina omutu tia NPP omutu amahama say yonwa mekura my shock according to Adam Bona abana omutu ye there your friend is saying the special voting na a soldier for any police for no toyen a soldier for na 20 omutu tia Bawumia kra omuso mompe Bawumia ene nanado MPP biom na enu ntwengu nebusua osa kan sem bi say MPP for na nim so ma lose election no, and there is a pressure on Bawumia to accept defeat. Yes, me pacho sano kai utie nsem okai na or say why wouldn't Bawumia throw in the towel adding na won't accept defeat. Say yonwa na ese Bawumia way soldiers for no etutiano, of which it is a bad signal. And again, not as in a bad signal in a sense a bad signal. Me person me chere say the way na NPP is poised in rigging this election. No? Now soldiers for na mo pese mo use o mo no. Omo to abanetiawo. And now no Bawumia way there is a pressure that Bawumia pass to say obe throw in the towel. Say obe accept defeat. Ebusuya me ma kasa nyatinti ebe ko ne akoti nkomo no. Se ne se koye. Nyankopon onhia no onyo kese. Me pa cho for comment, share comment section. Yebeje na yakenkan. Me da se bebre.
2 days ago, yesterday, and we are already in the morning, that the military is headless. There is no command and control within the military. The military is, the Ghana military at the moment is not being run by the military. So you have a group of hoodlums who are running the Ghana Armed Forces. And so you have the CDS who is sidelined. And so you have a couple of people who are running the institution called the Ghana Armed Forces. And so you have command and counter command. And when you have such a situation, then you would have what happened in Obuasi happening. Do you understand me? Right. You would have, so you now have citizens who are hooting at our revered military. As to whether these people are military, proper military, trained military, we don't know. Because then it is easy for anyone to have some military uniform, put it on people, and dispatch them to go and do some of these works. But as at this evening, last night. As at last night, amongst the military had asked the boys to return back to the barracks. They didn't want to see them again. But we still have some remnants of some of them who are still, for some reason, still trying to foment trouble. And
what do you think is causing that? Because, military men act on commands.
Is the answer? I answered you by saying that the Ghana Armed Forces is headless. There is no command and control. I'm serious. Command and control doesn't exist. CDS is sidelined. Others are doing their. You have civilians and other rogue military, senior military commanders who are calling the shot because of their paymasters. And I think this is serious. This is serious.
Who are their paymasters?
Say that again?
Who are their paymasters?
Who are they know. Brigadier General Poku, we've been calling him out, 4BN, Ashanti region, and he's doing a lot of bad things. And my point is that...
giving him the power? The president?
He's the president. You see, we conducted a survey, and the survey of security officers pointed to security officers voting in a certain direction. And we're called names. Have you seen the voting pattern from the barracks? All the garrisons voted against the MPP.
Interesting.
All the garrisons, all of them, 100%, all of them. All of them, all the garrisons, all of them. And that is serious. When we saw this coming and we told them that, you need to sit up. And the reasons are just about 3 things. Military officers for about 1 year now don't have pay slip. Military officers were promised 70% pay, and they were only giving 30% or 35%. Military officers, so you have some people fielding the CDS, trying to usurp his powers and doing all manner of things. The president is the commander-in-chief, and I say that if you didn't want him to be CDS, don't put him there. You know what happened to the IGP when, the concerned police, they wanted to remove him? Don't the report from Parliament, finding those people guilty, sent to the press? Have you heard of it? Those people are still in the Ghana Police Service. So all these things make the security architecture very wobbly. So for me, I would say that they've done some very good job. And as I sit here, you would have, senior officers who sometimes, but they are still very sensible ones within the military. I'm being very honest. Very sensible ones, calm. So they are calling the rogue officers amongst them, telling them now, please, calm down, please, don't do this. No, which I think we need it now. Because what we are going through, I would have wished that if what some of my MPP friends are telling me, that they've lost it, is anything to go by, then the vice president should just throw in the towel.
But let me ask the question. This elections is being governed by CI 127.
Right.
CI 127 states that after you have counted the votes, you need to stick a pink sheet at the polling station before it goes to the collation center.
Very true.
I want Johnny to ask your correspondent, have they seen any pink sheet being stuck at the polling station?
Well, definitely, we're going to ask these correspondents.
Because if it hasn't, then it's gone against the law.
Exactly.
Because CI 127 is what is supposed to govern the regulations of this particular election. And if they haven't done that, Electoral Commission should question why the polling agents haven't done that. But how will they do it when you have a tent for a polling station? Where will they stick it? On the roof? On the bar? Where will they stick it? So it goes to show, really and truly, they've thrown the law at us. This is how we're doing it, but they are not practicing the law in real terms.
We need to be very careful.
And it creates challenges.
The country may be thrown into chaos.
Right.
Because what is going on, you have 276 constituencies, all up in arms as we speak. All of them up in arms.
Now,
which to me, have the problem solved is better than zero. But at the moment, zero. Because the referee who is supposed to say it is a goal is still looking into the VAR to see whether it's a goal. When all of us can see the thing is a goal.
Unfortunately, we need to ask you this question because earlier I was speaking to lawyer Jantwa about really where to put the blame. We've seen a number of issues that have marred the electoral process from morning through till now. You just saw some of the issues at the collation centers as well. He was telling me that he does not understand how the Ghana Police Service has allowed these things to happen under the IGP's watch. Would you say that the IGP is somewhat a bit powerless in this situation?
Well, I won't say he's powerless. I don't understand probably what the EC is doing. Because maybe for the first time in all these years, this is about the 9th presidential and parliamentary elections since 1992, that we have gone past, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a 1:45, and we don't have a single declaration.
Very true.
Diplomatic cables are talking. They are talking among themselves. Things are not making sense to them. The diplomatic cables, they are talking among themselves. Things are not making sense to them. For the first time, even I'm sure if this election was to be held in maybe Somaliland, where it is not a country, they would have declared at least some number of, results. But we haven't seen anything.
Even parliamentary.
Not parliamentary. No official results.
Should we be worried? Because in
yes,
a particular constituency, we are just learning from one of our constituencies that one of the polling agents has just about now, and it's almost 2 p.m. 2 a.m. I mean. He's just about now brought a pink sheet. He's now bringing that pink sheet to the collation center. And, I mean, it's sparking a lot of worries. People are protesting.
Yeah, so they should resist. So for me, it's either someone has a scheme that is being played out. So I wouldn't blame it at the doorstep of the IGP, because then this has to do with electoral matters. So I'm not too sure what the EC is doing.
You think this is a deliberate attempt of any
Well,
sort?
like I said, the diplomatic cables, they are talking. They are talking among themselves. Because like I said, I'm old enough to have seen since 92 up to today. And so for the first time in so many years, after 30 years, that we have an election, and right from 5 p.m. to almost 2 a.m., no one is sleeping. The whole country is awake. Already, people in the MPP are saying, Dr. Bawumia should throw in the towel. I'm sure you've seen that. I'm sure have you not seen that yourself?
Yes,
you have. And so it means that we shouldn't drag this thing. If you've lost it, you've lost it. And it shows. So EC should just spare us the hassle.
I thought her reference was more on the security issue than the Electoral Commission.
Well,
he
is saying that he puts it at the door of the EC.
I'm putting it at the doorstep of the EC.
In terms of all the security lapses that have gone
because once you are not announcing, anxiety, people begin to feel what's going on.
Yeah.
And once people are not sleeping, people begin to mass up. And so if by now, let's say there are about 276. If we have had, let's say, 100 of the constituencies declared, you would have had maybe almost 50% of the job done. So maybe 50% of the country would have been sleeping. But at the moment, the whole country, including SAR, is not sleeping. That's what it means. The whole country. My constituency is not sleeping. Your constituency is not sleeping. His constituency is not sleeping. Everybody here.
We're all wide awake.
We are all, because then everybody wants to know what's going to happen. Who is going to be my next MP? And the MPs themselves who have lost, they know. Because then you are there at the polling center when this thing. So mine is that it will be difficult to blame it at the doorstep of security. Because this is purely an electoral matter. The elections, J. Mensah and the commissioners, they are not sure, because they are not telling us anything.
But speaking of issues of security once again, we realized earlier this morning, during the day, the issues of military personnel. We saw them at some constituencies. Yes. They caused a scuffle at some places. In fact, they even brutalized some of the NDC organizers.
And it's still ongoing.
In particular.
Some people have been shot this night.
Yes, exactly. Yes. We've recorded 2 deaths as well. Yeah. Now, knowing very well that the president, current president, is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, then the question remains, who really is giving these orders of the military moving to constituencies when the police has assured us that until they make that call, we should not see any military personnel at the constituencies?
Well, I think I've said this throughout yesterday, today, and it's continuing. I mean,
we need to go back to Johnny for a bit of more analysis, and also for him to speak to some of our correspondents. Johnny, what do we have?
Well, thank you, Judith Brown there. We're keeping you wide awake. We're live on 3FM 92.7. She's hanging out with lawyer Jantua and Dr. Adam Bona. We'll cross over now to the Upper East region, where some provisional results have come in. A man on the ground, Castro Senara, is joining us now. Castro, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Johnny. I'm doing well. How are you too?
I'm greater than Accra. Now, you tell me, what provisional results do you have?
Right. So we are the Navrongo Central Coalition Center, where some provisional results have been coming in. And that has to do with the presidential elections, where we are getting the understanding that Mahama is ahead of his fierce competitor, or contestant, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, let me quickly take you through what I have with me here, even though I'm struggling to open my eyes because it's very late. Now, Johnny, this is what I have here. So this is the presidential election summary that has been projected on a big screen here at the Navrongo Coalition Center, Central Constituency Coalition Center. Behind me, for lack of, light, that is why I'm under the street light to be able to give the light broadcast. So let me run it through quickly. Per the presidential election summary here in the Navrongo Central Constituency, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia got 10,899 votes. Daniel Augustus Latte got 142 votes. Christian Kwabena Andrews got 49 votes. Kofi Akpalu got 27 votes. Mohamed Frimpong got 31 votes. Nana Akosua Frimpoma got 83 votes. Then we have John Dramani Mahama of the NDC bargain 26,035 votes. We move on to Hassan Ayerga. He got 85 votes. Kofi Kranting got 21 votes. George Chum Barima Edu got 17 votes. Nana Kwame Bediakon of the New Change got 124 votes. And then finally, Alan Kojo Tramontaine got 69 votes. Now, Johnny, to interest to know that in the Navrongo Central Constituency, we had a total of 1,358 rejected ballots. And that alone has sparked a lot of conversations here at the, within and outside, outside the confinement of the...
What could have accounted for it? Is it a matter of voter education gone bad, or the people deliberately had to do that, or the people were just ignorant? What exactly accounted for that?
Yes, so I've been trying to ask some questions and get the answers you've also been trying to get. But then the understanding we are getting here, or I'm getting here, is that it shows that the people are not happy with what is happening. And so they just went there to do something to represent something. That's what the conversations that I had behind the coalition center where a lot more youth groups are still standing here observing keenly the process from outside. And they tell me that, or they speak out loudly to the hearing of everyone that, look, the number is overwhelming. And so it goes to show that the people were not really happy. And so they just went there to do whatever they could to also show that they've participated in the elections.
I see. The Upper East region has always been green, correct?
Yes, the Upper East region has always been green, but then there are usually constituencies where the NPP is able to make differences, and that is the Navrongo Central constituency, for instance, is one of them, especially during the period of the late Joseph Kofi Ada, who was a likable person and would usually improve the fortunes of the party. But then since he, went out of office, it has been a very difficult one for the NPP, particularly the 2020 elections, and then and this one as well.
I see, Castro. Now, a matter of interest has come in. Lawyer Kwame Jantua has been reading CI 127, which governs the elections. He wants to know if at that particular polling station and the others that you have gone to, the electoral officers, that's the returning officers or presiding officers, have been able to paste a copy of the pink sheet at the polling station or the collation center before giving you those provisional results.
None that I've seen at all, but what I can say is that there hasn't been restrictions as far as getting access to some of the pink sheets are concerned. If you walk up to them, they would definitely give them to you as a media person per se. But because they are very busy now, I haven't myself made that attempt. But I'm able to enter into the collation center freely and engage them as and when the need arises. And so to answer that question, I think if you make the efforts, they would. But to say they've pasted them so that other people who are not journalists can get them to look at is something that I'm not sure about.
I can see a giant screen behind you, and you had to step forward because of illumination to be able to do this live broadcast. But confirm for me, that screen there, do you have the results projected on it for the public to see as well?
Yes, so that is basically the aim of it. They've brought it out of the collation center. So let me quickly state that this is the Navrongo Circuit Court building that is playing host for as the collation center.
Right.
And so right in front of it is a confinement, a wire. And within the wire, they've projected this big giant screen. They've put this big giant screen there that allows anyone at all who is outside the wire to be able to see. And so when you walk closely, you see that the results are being projected there. All the election results from the various collation centers, polling stations have been projected with the total number of votes and everything well calculated beneath for everybody to see. So as we speak now, a lot more people, though the police are manning the entrance to ensure that people do not go into cause trouble, but as it's late and a lot more people have gone home, the few who are there and are behaving very well are allowed by the police to go in and have a good look. And quite a number of them are standing in front of the giant board and looking and analyzing it. That is where most of the conversations are going on, where residents are saying that, yes, the number of rejected ballots is alarming, and that goes to show that the people were really angry and came out to do something to represent something.
I see. Now, you've taken us to the Navrongo Central constituency. Are there...
Abusia, I don't know what to say because NPP has lost the election. Let us be sincere. NPP lose the election. So there is a pressure on Bawumia to throw in the towel, to accept defeat. Yes. To the extent say even international bodies na share him say Bawumia will accept defeat because Omo say the one second Bawumia has lost the battle. Now the battle now always is the loss. No? I don't know, but makers are tone soon. It's the loss in the sense say Nyankopon akwama Ghana. It has been the loss in a sense say Nyankopon aje Ghana every state capture. Nyankopon sha no Kesi. Why don't you saying? With the greatest respect, message also at the comment section. Manya constructive, meje na makenkai. Medasi bebre, yedun kumon base here. Stay tuned for more updates.